Saturday, February 12th, 2022, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today we're going to look at how all fiat currencies are sinking. It's not just the Turkish lira, it's not just the Russian ruble or the Brazilian real or the Lebanese lira. No, it's the US dollar, it's the British pound, it's the Japanese yen, all the major currencies. Yes, we get too bogged down sometimes in the FX market comparing fiat currencies against each other. And yes, sometimes it looks like the dollar is king. You hear that headline a lot. And then the euro, for example, in the last few weeks made a huge move higher. But I've been warning about this for many years. I started this channel back around November 2015. And I've done a few videos, as you can see here, about this subject. And even before that, when I used to work in the city, back in around 2005 or 6, I set up a blog, personal blog. It wasn't to do with work. I did that in my spare time. One of my cousins was in IT and he helped me set it up. And it was called forsoundmoney.com. So you can see that I've been at this trying to warn people for, 15 years, maybe even more, especially friends and colleagues and some family members that want to listen to what I have to say about sound money. And I didn't keep the blog going because I was too busy at work. And at the time, YouTube was around, but it wasn't something that I was looking to do. Eventually, though, yes, I started this channel in 2015. And this has been one of the major reasons I started this channel, to try to warn people about the monetary system and how all fiat currencies are sinking. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go through an article I wrote for my blog back in April 2007. And even though my blog is still not around anymore, the marketoracle.co.uk published this article, and it was a part 2. Unfortunately, I can't find part 1, but it was written in December 2006, part 1. So let's go through this article quickly. And then what we're going to do is look at the price of gold in all the major currencies. And hopefully you will see that, yes, they're all sinking. So currencies, they're all sinking. Part 2, April 24th, 2007, by Mario Ineco. That's me. So last December, we wrote, and they are all sinking, about how our present monetary system is a dollar-based system and how it has evolved. We also noted how all the major so-called hard currencies, along with the dollar, had been losing value against gold since 2001. In part 2, we will be giving an update on how the major fiat currencies are faring against gold at the present time. So you see, I recommend people, the readers, go to part 1. Unfortunately, there is no part 1. And I explain how the fiat monetary system has evolved. I'm going to put some of my videos I've done about this since 2015 about the fiat monetary system, and also a playlist, so you can go through that if you want. So this is the update here. We feel that there is a great deal being made of the demise of the dollar, while there is, on the other hand, a great deal been made of the $2 pound sterling, while at that time the pound was worth more than $2. And the $1.36 euro. Focusing on dollar weakness alone is, in our opinion, a mistake, because in the end of the day, all the major fiat currencies are being inflated, and as a result, losing purchasing power versus real goods, services, and assets. And I said at the time, as gold has been the currency with the best track record over the last few thousand years, and as a result has maintained purchasing power, we find it appropriate to compare government-imposed fiat currencies or currencies with the yellow metal. So just to give you an idea where gold was at the time, we're going to go through the whole article. Our latest calculations show that the dollar, the euro, the British pound, the Swiss franc, and the Japanese yen have continued to lose value against gold. Since we last wrote, the dollar price of gold has gone from 618 to 684 today, which is a gain of 10.68% for gold. Against the euro, gold has gone up from 472 to 502 today for a gain of 6.35%. Versus the British pound, and wait for this, gold is up to 342, up from 316 for a gain of 8.23%. The Swiss franc has lost 9.15% as gold has risen from 754 to 823. And lastly, against the yen, we have seen gold rally from 73,000 yen to a present level of 81,100, or a debasement of 11.09% for the Japanese currency. As can be seen, talk of the death of the dollar is only partly true. We feel that it is more appropriate to talk of the demise of the fiat monetary system, and with it, the death of all the currencies that make up the system. And I still feel the same way about it. So now what we're going to do is look at how the fiat currencies are faring today, as of the close of business on February 11th, 2022, almost 15 years later since that article. And the great thing about being able to do these videos on YouTube and other platforms is that I've grown a following of many supporters, subscribers, and viewers from all around the world. Yes, the majority of my viewers are from the US, about 40 to 45%, and then it's the UK, and then it's Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, New Zealand. All around the world I have viewers, but I've been able to look at gold here in many different currencies. I might have missed some currencies, but believe me, they're all sinking. So we'll start with the major ones, the US dollar and the euro, as you can see. And I've taken this from just before 2007 or around 2007, which was pretty much when I wrote that article. And it's pretty much when the financial crisis was starting. At that juncture in April 2007, we are hearing about subprime problems, but we didn't know that we're going to have a major collapse of Wall Street in 2008. So here's the dollar. And yes, yesterday was an interesting day for the price of gold in dollars. I'm not getting excited, or I'm neutral. And yes, it looked good late in the day that the dollar rallied strongly. Silver rallied strongly as well. And even the mining stocks rallied strongly, while the stock market, the major or the general stock market, dropped a lot. 2 days of drops. Yes, there's talk about war in Russia, but I'm here just to look at the charts and the fundamentals and the fact that it's gotten even worse, the inflation and the debasement of currencies. So they're going to continue to sink. And as I've said, it's all of them. So here's the euro. As you can see, we're very near all-time highs in the euro in terms of gold. The dollar as well, we're near the all-time highs. We're back above that key 1800 level. And it looks like we're breaking out from some key triangles. And all these charts, by the way, are weekly charts. So as you can see, the price of these currencies in gold, you know, they've multiplied since I made that video. You can see the euro has gone from around 500 to 1600 now. The dollar just below 700 to 1850 or thereabouts. So now let's look at the Japanese yen, XauJpy, the price of gold in yen and the price of gold in sterling. And the Japanese yen price is interesting because we're told that Japan has been in a deflation since the early 90s, 3 lost decades, so to speak. The central bank there has continued to print, to do QE, to keep rates zero. The national debt is over 200% of GDP or thereabouts. But if you look at this, we've gone from around 70,000 and right now we're almost at 220,000. So gold has been a great protection versus currency debasement for Japanese savers. Having the dollar would have protected as well, but not as well as gold because the dollar's also dropped against gold. So that's why they're all sinking. And with the British pound as well. I mean, when I wrote that article, we're around 330, 340 pounds, and now we're almost at 1400. Yes, we had a spike almost to 1600. That was a combination of Brexit, the collapse of 2020. The British pound is very weak in relative terms to all other fiat currencies, and that's why the price of gold spiked so much. I think eventually we'll go back to retest that level just below 1600. So what do we got next? Well, we got the Swiss franc, which a lot of people consider a safe haven, the best of a bad bunch of fiat currencies, but it hasn't really been exempt or immune to debasement. As you can see here, we were trading between 700 and 800 back in 07, and now looks like we're breaking out as well. We're breaking out of the all-time high that we'd seen back in 2012. We're still a little ways away from the recent high, but the trend is the same. Now to the Canadian dollar, and a lot of my viewers are from Canada, so I'm sure they'll want to have a look at this. And I didn't cover the Canadian dollar in my article back in 07. And as you can see, we were trading around 600 and 700 Canadian dollars back in 07. And right now we're almost at 2,400. And yes, we're way above the previous all-time high back in 2011, which was just around 1,900. Down under to Australia and New Zealand. It's the same story all around, as you can see. Aussie dollar is around $800. The price of gold was around $800. Now we're breaking out of this triangle, as you can see here. We're at 2,600. Kiwi dollar, yeah, it was around $900 back in 07, just below 1,000. We're now just under 2,800. And yeah, it looks like they're all starting to move again, all starting to sink. I guess I could have turned these charts upside down, but what you need to understand is that you're needing more and more of these currencies to buy an ounce of gold. So yes, there are sinking in terms of gold. And to finish off, we go to Scandinavia. I've got a lot of viewers in Scandinavia as well, followers from Denmark, Sweden, Norway. So here we go. Nothing different either for the Swedish krona. On the top left-hand side, as you can see, we're very much near the all-time high, which is around 18,000. We settled at 17,364 yesterday. Norwegian krona, that's around 16,500. The all-time high, still a little ways away, 18,580. And unfortunately, I couldn't get these currencies as far back as 07, but the Swedish krona, as you can see, since 2015, it's moved quite a bit. It's almost doubled. The Norwegian krona since 2012, yes, it's gone up about 60%. And the Danish krona settled around 12,200 yesterday. And since the bottom in October 2013, it's almost doubled. So now we're going to look at what's happening in the markets year to date, to look at the trends. And it's very interesting because the stock market hasn't had a good start to the year. Right now, the Dow is down 4.4% year to date. S&P is down 7.29%. The Nasdaq is down almost 12% or 11.85% year to date. The small caps are down 9.46%. So I also wanted to look at the dollar index. Another reason why not to get too distracted with the moves between fiat currencies. Year to date, guess what? The dollar index is up 0.07%. So it's gone nowhere. So let's have a look at gold, silver, and the miners and commodities, how they're doing so far. Because I think the tide is turning towards the hard assets. And I think it's still early days, of course. And this is just like year to date. The year is not even 2 months old. So it's just an indication. So let's start with GDXJ, which is the junior miner ETF. So as you can see, year to date, it's up just under 1%, 0.95%. So it seems to be detaching against the general stock market. A lot of people have been concerned about the miners, whether they would perform well if the stock market didn't do well, the general stock market, and gold and silver went up. They weren't too convinced, but I think it's starting to show signs that it could be different, that we could see a bull market in the miners despite a weak general stock market. Now to the GDX, which is not junior miners, but just the gold miners. And year to date, that's up 3.78%. So quite interesting that the bigger companies are outperforming, but I think the junior miners could catch up. So now for gold and silver, I've done something that I usually don't. I've used GLD and SLV to look at the year-to-date performances, only because it's easier in terms of getting a quote, because gold and silver are traded 24/7 on the spot price. They trade more like currencies, so it's not as easy to get the year to dates. I could have calculated, but this makes it easier. So what I'm trying to say, this is not an endorsement for GLD or SLV. I still think people should buy the real thing. And yes, SLV and GLD, you can ask for delivery, but you need to be a high net worth individual or a big institution. Anyway, GLD year to date is up 3.26%. SLV is up 3.07%. And here as well, we want to see silver start to outperform. That would be ideal. But nevertheless, as you can see, the miners, gold and silver, are actually up on the year so far, while the general stock market is down. And to finish off, I'm just going to look at the commodities. And I've taken the Invesco Bloomberg Commodity ETF. And that one is up almost 9% year to date, or 8.92%. And again, I think gold and silver are going to catch up to the general commodities and even overtake them eventually. I don't know when. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to put the link to the article from Market Oracle in 2007 below, just for you to see that I did write that. And I'm going to put, I think there's a playlist for they're all syncing fiat currencies, which this is probably the 5th one that I've done over the years. And I thought it was a good time to refresh upon that, because many of you probably, the new viewers, new subscribers, hadn't really watched this probably. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great weekend. Take care. Bye.